What's going on, everybody? Kalipis Tech here, coming back at you with another video. This is my beginner's guide to the Cricut Icon Plus. In this video, I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks to help you get more comfortable using it. Let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to actually open your settings. Now there are a couple different ways to do this. The first one is going to your settings app, which may or may not be somewhere on your home screen. For me, it's not. I didn't really change a whole lot except adding a couple apps I downloaded. But if it's not on your home screen, you can access it from your app drawer. To get to this from anywhere on your home screen, swipe up, select this. And this is going to show you all the apps on your phone, which keep in mind if you download something new, it's going to show up in here too, and you can put it on your home screen. So I'm going to do that with the settings app. For me, the settings app is right here. So to add it to your home screen, press and hold on the icon, select this, and then drag it, put it wherever you want, so right here. And that's pretty much it. So I can go to settings now. And then in addition to this, there is another simpler way to get to it. So if you're, say, maybe not on your home screen, maybe you're in an app or something like that, no matter where you are on your phone, you can also swipe down from the top, so like this. Swipe down one more time, so we're gonna drag this to the bottom. And then the settings icon is gonna be right here. If you tap on this, you can get to it this way as well. Now from here, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to control your notifications. Now on a phone like this, I feel like when you're setting your phone up for the first time, this is a really important thing to do because with this phone and Cricut phones in general, there is a lot of bloatware, and trust me, you're going to get a ton of random notifications from things. I feel like I don't know who actually finds them useful. Maybe you do, maybe you use the news app that's built into the phone or something, but for me personally, I feel like it's just completely unnecessary, and you even get banner notifications on your lock screen even when you try to get rid of them. Now, usually I show you how to do it live, but I honestly just couldn't take it, so I turned it off earlier. But regardless, if you do want to control your notifications, whether it's for a built-in app or really any app for that matter, what you're going to do is go to your settings. From here, go to notifications. And then from this menu, go to app notifications. So right here. And then this is going to show all the apps on your phones that send you notifications. By default, it's just going to show you the most recent, but if you want to be proactive about it, you can always hit this drop down and then hit all apps. So then it's going to show you literally everything, and some of them are off by default, but a lot of them won't be. And then of course, to turn something off, you can just tap on this icon and it's going to toggle it off. Or if you maybe want some kinds of notifications, but not all, you can also tap here. And this is going to show you a few different options. So you don't always have to turn all the notifications off. You can customize it here. Now we're going to take a look at the sound menu. Now to get to the sound menu, we're going to go to settings. Then from here, go to sound and vibration. So right here. And then from this menu, we have a few different options. Right away, you're going to see a few different volumes here. So media volume, so like if you're listening to music, watching a video, playing a game, stuff like that. Call volume, so obviously when you're on a call, that's going to be the earpiece and whatnot. Ring volume, so that's going to be your ringtone, and then that is going to be separate from notification volume. Keep in mind, I believe text messages do go under ring volume too. I could be wrong about that, so you might need to play around with it a bit. But notifications should just be for your app notifications. And then alarm volume. So you can change all of those here. Right here where it says phone ringtone, we got a few different preset options, and then you can also add your own if you have like a downloaded ringtone. Then if we go back, you can also do the same thing for notifications. So if we go default notification sound, same thing, you can add one or you can choose a preset, and then you can also do the same for an alarm. So pretty cool. I know there are some Android phones that don't let you choose custom notifications by default, so it's nice that you can put your own tone for pretty much anything here. If we go back up, there's also do not disturb. Now, keep in mind you don't actually have to go to this menu for it. You can also open your quick menu, so the quick menu is that thing we saw with the notifications and stuff from swiping down. Again, keep in mind you don't have to be on your home screen or anything. You can just have your screen unlocked and it's going to open this. So if you swipe down like this, there we go, swipe down one more time. And then do not disturb is going to be somewhere on this menu. So I think it's in the second page and right here. Then if we go down, there's also vibration and haptics, so keep in mind if you have your sound on, it might not vibrate by default when the ring is on, but if this for whatever reason is off, you can toggle it on, and then when your phone does have sound on, it's still gonna vibrate while making noise. So if you want that extra layer of detection or whatever. I personally have all my phones in vibrate most of the time, so I don't really notice it myself, but then you can also have it vibrate first and ring gradually. So nice to have multiple options. And then if we go back, you can also change some system sounds. So by default, most of these will be off, but if you want dial pad tones, screen locking sounds, now the charging sound is on by default, but you can always turn that off. And then tap and click sounds as well. Now I'm going to show you how to change your wallpaper. To do this, we're going to go back to settings. Then from here, go to wallpaper and style. So right here under display. And then if you go to more wallpapers, here you can choose all these different ones. So they do have quite a few. And then you can also choose your photos. So if we go here, you can choose pretty much anything. So once you have something selected, you can see a preview of what it looks like on your lock screen and then your home screen as well. And then once everything all looks good, just hit set wallpaper. And then you can choose to set it on your home screen, lock screen, or both. So I'm gonna hit home and lock screens. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, pretty simple. But in addition to this, I'm gonna show you an even quicker way to do it and customize some other home screen settings too. So another thing you can do instead of going all the way to settings, all you have to do is put your finger on a blank spot on your home screen and hold it for just a second. So like right here. And then from here, as you can see, wallpaper and style, so you can go right there. You can also add widgets, and you can access some additional home screen settings. So definitely nice and convenient for when you're getting your phone set up for the first time. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is how to change your screen lock. To do this, we're going to go back to settings. Then from here, go to security and privacy. So it's going to be down and right here. And then from here, go to device lock. Then from this menu, we got a few different options. Just for the basic screen lock, when you turn on your phone for the very first time, you will have to set up a PIN. So that's what this is going to be. So if we go here, put in your current PIN. So mine is, as you can see, really complex here. But once you put in your PIN, you can change your lock screen. So you can choose between none, which keep in mind, this literally means your phone doesn't lock at all. So you basically press the power key, the phone, the screen, whatever turns off, and then you can press it again and it turns right back on to wherever you left off at. I don't like this at all. It's really weird, and I feel like you could accidentally pocket dial something or even worse. So yeah, I mean, if you want, do you, but I personally wouldn't. Then there's also swipe, which is at least sort of a screen lock. Keep in mind, there's still no security, but it is what it is. If you just really don't want security and maybe your phone is always in your pocket, whatever, then you can do it, but at least you're not going to accidentally do something on your phone when it's in your pocket, or at least in theory you won't. I still feel like it's not the safest, but it is still an option all the same. Then there's pattern, which if you've had an Android phone, I'm sure you've seen this before. PIN, again, this is really the default, the standard you're going to see on pretty much any phone nowadays. And then password if you want higher security. In addition to this, if we go back to the main screen lock menu, so right here, you can also turn on the fingerprint and face unlock. So if we go here, you will have to put in your PIN or your password or whatever you end up choosing. And keep in mind, if you don't have any security, you will have to have at least a PIN or a pattern or something in order to use this feature. Because of course, with no security, it's not like you're gonna need something to unlock your phone when it doesn't lock in the first place. I guess it does make logical sense. But from this menu, as you can see, you can set up face unlock, fingerprint scanner, and then you can turn it on and off. And also there are some apps that need verification, like if you're buying something on Google Play, for example, so you can have the fingerprint scanner be used for that too. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to change your system navigation. So you may have noticed down here at the bottom, we got the navigation bar with the standard 3 buttons, pretty typical for most Android phones, but we do have another option called gesture navigation. So I'm going to show you that right now. To get to this, we're going to go to settings. Then from here, we're going to go to system. So it's going to be all the way at the bottom. So right here. Then from here, go to gestures. And from this menu, go to navigation mode. I know it's kind of weird if you're used to Android in general because I feel like most phones have this in the display menu, but again, it is in the gestures menu, which is under system, so a little different. So again, by default, it is going to be 3-button navigation, but if you want, you can also turn it to gesture navigation. So this is going to be a bit different. If you've never used it before, it might feel a little weird, but I will say from using it on my personal phone, you will get used to it. Now, I have an iPhone, so you don't really have an option to have buttons. I kind of wish that it was an option because for me personally, I do like buttons a little bit better, but if you are someone who wants more of a modern kind of sleek look with a minimalist design, it is kind of nice. So I'm going to show you real quick how it works. To go home like you just saw, all you have to do is swipe up real quick like this. To go to your recent apps, instead of pressing a recent apps button, all you have to do is drag your finger partially up and hold for just a second. So like this. And then to go back, swipe your finger from left to right or right to left. So like this or like this. It's kind of too bad you can't swipe from right to left to go forward and left to right to go back, but it is what it is. I mean, it's basically like pressing a back button, so not too bad. So I would definitely play around with it. I feel like depending on the phone, sometimes gesture navigation can be good and sometimes it's not so good. In my experience on this phone, it's been surprisingly good. I want to say typically with lower end phones that aren't really the fastest and don't have the fanciest displays, gesture navigation tends to be a little bit worse, but again, honestly, I was pleasantly surprised with this one, so I do recommend giving it a try if you haven't already, and who knows, maybe you might like it. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to change your screen timeout time. So by default, the screen timeout time with this phone is super short, and I did change it to the longest setting just for these videos because it kept falling asleep when I was trying to record, which was annoying. But yeah, depending on what you're doing, it might need to be a little bit longer or a bit shorter, so really depends on your use case. But to change your screen timeout time, you're going to go to settings, and then from the main settings menu, let me go back real quick. So from the main settings menu here, you're going to go to display. So right here. And then from here, screen timeout is right here, kind of near the top. So as you can see, again, I have mine set to 30 minutes and you can set it as short as 15 seconds, which is like, that is really short. Your phone is going to be falling asleep pretty much the second you put it down, but some people might want it like that. And then you can also use the feature called screen attention, which this is essentially going to use your front facing camera, and as long as you're looking at your face, it does kind of recognize it basically. So as long as you're looking at it, it will stay on. Now, because I got this phone pretty recently, I haven't really had a chance to test it a ton, but I would say give it a try if you want. In my experience, it does work fairly well on most phones, so it will get the job done. But yeah, definitely screen timeout time, it's gonna depend. I feel like the average person is probably gonna want it somewhere around 1 to 5 minutes, depending on what you're doing. But say you're like a big reader or something, then you might want to use the screen attention or put it to 30 minutes. Or maybe you're in a situation where you're like at work and you're working and kind of watching videos at the same time or something like that. Maybe you have your phone like on a little stand on your desk. In that kind of situation, having it set to 30 minutes is probably better, because I doubt in that kind of situation that the screen attention is really going to work. But then again, typically at this point in 2025, most phones won't fall asleep in the middle of a video. That's probably not super normal, but just in case, there are options. Now I'm going to show you how to take a screenshot with the Cricut Icon Plus. So this is real easy, but there is sometimes some confusion about which button to actually use. So for this phone, you are going to be using the power key and the volume down key. So all you have to do, don't need to hold it or anything, just click the buttons real quick like this. And there we go. So pretty simple, shows up right here. You can edit it, and if you don't do anything, it's gonna go away in a second. There we go, and it'll save right to your photos. So if we go back, go to collections, and then on device, and you'll see it's right here. So pretty cool. And then finally, the last thing I'm gonna show you is how to turn the phone off. Now, this might sound like a kind of goofy thing to have here, but Trust me, if you're not really getting phones super often, maybe this is your first phone in a while, this might not be as straightforward as you expect, because typically back in the day, all you really had to do to turn your phone off is press and hold the power key, but look what happens when I do it. That is not the power menu, it's just this Google Assistant thing. I guess it can be kind of useful. I mean, I know it is. A lot of my friends use it constantly, but I personally am not really the biggest fan of virtual assistants. Nothing against them, it's just not really my thing. But luckily with the Cricut Icon Plus, turning the phone off is actually still pretty easy. So all you have to do is press the power key and the volume up button. So pretty much just like a screenshot, but the other button. So if we go like this, the power menu is right here, and you can also restart, lock down, whatever you want to do. In addition to this, you can also simply go to the quick menu. So again, to get to this, swipe down once, drag this part down, and then it's going to be right here. And if that wasn't enough, if you really just want to put it back to the way things were, maybe you don't use the assistant at all, then you can actually do this too. So to do this, we're going to go to settings. Then from here, go to gestures. So the same place we went for the navigation bar. So from here, go all the way to the bottom, then go to system. And then from here, go to gestures, and then press and hold power button. So if we open this, as you can see by default, press and hold power button to access is going to be digital assistant, but you can also change it to power menu. So now if you press and hold, it's going to open the power menu. And now, as a side note, I do want to point out, if you do actually use the assistant, you may have noticed when I pressed and held it in the beginning, there was kind of an awkward silence for a sec. I feel like it was longer than usual. So keep in mind, you can change that duration. So you can have it open a lot faster. So if I just put it to the shortest setting, then as soon as I press and hold it, it's going to open right up. So a little bit faster and more convenient if you're going to be using it a lot. Or you can also, maybe you find yourself accidentally opening it a lot, then you can make it a lot longer, and then the awkward silence is going to be quite a bit longer, but at least it's not going to randomly open when you're trying to do something else. So there we go. It's not really that bad. So either way, it's nice to have some sort of option. But of course, if you just don't want to use it and you want it to be like the power menu instead, then you can just go to power menu. It's going to be just like before. And then now that I think of it, I wonder if it does the same thing still. So power key, volume up key, click it, and it still opens the power menu. For some reason, I thought it might open the assistant instead and just switch them around, but that's not how it is. So yeah, if you want to use the power menu just by pressing and holding your power key instead of doing the power key, volume up, then this is how you do it. But this concludes my beginner's guide to the Cricut Icon Plus. Now again, like I said in the beginning, a lot of people have pointed out in the past, understandably so, that the things I cover in these beginner guides are not necessarily the most basic possible features. So if you are really new to Android or smartphones in general and you want to know something a bit simpler, maybe you're setting up your phone and you're a little stuck, be sure to let me know in the comments. I will try to read all of them and get back to you, but just something to keep in mind. But that's pretty much it for this video. Stay tuned because I will be making plenty of others in the future. But if you enjoyed it and found it useful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And as always, I will see you in the next one.